What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. And the offer ends very soon at the end of March. Anyways, as far as the market's going, we start off with a bit of a dip. But then as time went on, we saw buyers return. The reason they returned is because of this news right here. We had Donald Trump giving a speech at the World Economic Forum, and he went on about the US's global affairs and the things that he typically says. But he did mention he wants to help negotiate peace between Russia and Ukraine, and he also talked about how optimistic he is about the US economy now that he is president. So, the market did like the speech he was giving. As a result, we saw the market pump very, very nicely. SPY started off at the 605 area. It did pump a little bit by about 2 points back up to the 607s. We also reached just under 608 at one point, but the problem we have is when you look at SPY, historically between 608 and 604, there's a big chop zone. So we love to just chop in this zone. And in order for us to remain bullish, you want to see SPY break 608. If we break that, then yes, this could be pushing a lot more into the 610s. If we can't hold above that, we're going to just continue to chop. And if we end up losing 605, I would say that SPY is going to be at risk of filling the gap down to about 603. So it all depends on these levels. Do we lose 605 to turn back down, or do we break 608 to remain bullish? We're stuck in the middle for now, so I do anticipate we're just going to continue to trade sideways, and we just have to wait and see what SPY is going to do. I do want to mention that there is going to be a risk of this potentially just chopping in this range. So it might get very, very boring for some people. And then also you have to be very careful with your options. So for now, we're just range bound. But as time goes on, whichever way we break will cause a very, very big move. So there will be a big move. If SPY breaks 608 or if it loses 605, it will be coming. Otherwise, we're just completely range bound. So keep that in mind. The QQQ has a similar setup. There's a little bit more weakness on the QQQ than SPY because we pushed about 533 and rejected. Today we retested 530. We weren't able to hold above it. We're just shuffling here. So there's going to be a risk of this coming back down, and then it may fully fill this gap down to the 527s if we can't hold above 530. So just be careful. We're just shuffling in the 530 area. We'll see if we get a rejection on the QQQ. The Russell started pushing with Trump's speech, but we still have this unfilled gap down here. So we have to see if we could break this high up here around 230 or if we come short and we end up rejecting. So I'll be watching that very closely. My gut tells me it's going to push a little bit more to about the 229 area, but then we'll see if we get a rejection. And if we do get that rejection, then this could turn back down. So just be very careful. I'll be watching that very, very closely. For ES, we tested this high up here. We're just at the low end of this chop zone. We're testing previous support becoming resistance. And there's a good chance we just chop around this range in the 6100s, the low 6100s essentially. We have to see if 6100 holds or not on ES. If it holds, we could continue to chop around. If it fails, if we end up losing 6100, we will turn back down. As of right now, it's not clear. We're just stuck in the middle, shuffling right now between 6100 and 6140. So I anticipate a lot of sideways price action for now on ES until we see a bigger move. There is one issue though with NQ. We are not able to hold above 22,000. If we hold above that, we could bounce and start pushing more. If we don't hold above that though, there's going to be a risk of us returning to about 21,800. So please be careful, guys. We'll be watching just to see how things end up going. But there is a risk of this dipping a bit more if we can't get back above 22,000. On Bitcoin, we have this resistance around 106,000, and we have support down here around 102,000. As of right now, we're just going back and forth between these levels, but there's going to be a risk of us dipping to about 102,000. So just keep that in mind. For NVIDIA, we have a nice cup that's forming, but just know this. If we end up losing this support right over here around 144, we could turn back down. If we break 147, we could start pushing back to about 150. As of right now, we're range bound between 144 and 147. So I think we're just going to be range bound for now, not really doing much until we see which way this breaks. For Tesla, we're not looking too good. There's a possible left shoulder, head and right shoulder here, and we're losing 413.8 to the 50 EMA. If we hold above that, we could try to bounce. If we can't, there's going to be a risk of us just continuing to fall back down to 406 or below. So just be careful. For now, Tesla is looking weak compared to the markets. It is trying to hold 410, but if that fails us, we will be dipping to 406 and then 402. So just be very careful with it. For Apple, we tried to pump We need to break past 226.8 to bounce. If we can't get back above that, we're just range bound between 220 and 226. It might return back down to 222, showing some weakness, so just keep that in mind. For coin, we pushed very nicely to 300. We have to see if we break that or not. We're in a range between 300 and 287, going back and forth for now, but there is some upside potential if we break resistance. Amazon is range bound between 235 and 233. It's been stuck like that all day. It is showing a little bit of weakness here, so it might be dipping to the lower 230s if that fails us, but it's just range bound. Meta could be trying to push for essentially 630 and eventually 632. And if we end up losing support at 625, we could be dipping. I think that Meta is showing some strength and may try to push this imbalance at 632. Otherwise, it's very, very slow. Microsoft could be dipping to about 442. It's also shuffling for now, trading sideways, but there's a risk of it dipping a little bit lower. And then Google's also trading sideways completely right here. We need to break 202 to remain bullish. And if we lose 200, we could turn back down to 198. So we're stuck in the middle, so give this some time to develop. With that being said, guys, there's not really much going on with the markets. We're just seeing a lot of chop right now. So be patient, give the market some time to develop. We'll see what happens with order flow and such. So be patient, and we'll see if the market gets a big rejection or not. We're range bound on SPY. We're not officially super bullish or super bearish. I would say that we're stuck in the middle. So we're just waiting. We're going to be very, very patient, and we're going to be like snipers. When the move comes, when a very, very big move is ready, we will be ready to pounce on it when the time is right. We'll make our big move. We're just going to be very patient for now and wait. We're going to be waiting. Patience is a virtue, so give the market some time. And I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.